Ever found yourself wondering why your well-intended message just doesn't seem to register with your child? It's a question that's been asked by countless parents and educators around the globe. The challenge of communication is a common one, often leaving us puzzled and frustrated. But why does this happen? Well, the answer is quite simple, yet complex. It's not always about what we say, but how we say it. And when it comes to children, this becomes even more crucial. They perceive and interpret the world differently than adults, which means our messages need to be tailored to their understanding. Effective communication is not merely about conveying a message. It's about building a strong and nurturing relationship with your child. It's about understanding their world and helping them navigate through it. If this sounds familiar, don't worry. You're not alone. And there are ways to bridge this communication gap. Picture this. A mother, Jane, is struggling to get her son, Timmy, to do his homework. Jane, a woman known for her patience, found herself at wit's end. Her son, Timmy, a bright and curious 10-year-old, was steadfast in his resistance to homework. Day after day, Jane found herself repeating the same instructions, each time met with the same blank stare from Timmy. The situation was charged with frustration from both ends, a classic case of miscommunication. This wasn't a battle of wills, but rather a struggle to connect, to understand each other's perspectives. Jane was baffled by Timmy's resistance, and Timmy felt misunderstood, cornered into a task that felt tedious and unappealing. The gap between them seemed to widen with each failed attempt at homework time. Then, Jane decided to take a step back, to reassess their communication dynamic. She realized that perhaps she was so focused on the task at hand, the homework, that she had overlooked Timmy's perspective. She decided to try a different approach, one grounded in the principles of effective communication. The first step was listening. Instead of issuing instructions, Jane began by asking Timmy about his feelings towards homework. She learned that he found the tasks repetitive and boring. He felt that they took away from his playtime, a vital part of his day. Next came empathy. Jane acknowledged Timmy's feelings, validating his frustrations. She expressed understanding and shared her own experiences with tasks she didn't enjoy but had to do. This created a sense of solidarity between them, a shared understanding. The final step was clear instructions. Jane, understanding Timmy's concerns, made sure her instructions were concise and clear. She also ensured that they were interactive and engaging, turning homework into a more enjoyable task. With a change in her approach, Jane saw a shift in Timmy's response. It wasn't overnight, but it was progress. So, what exactly did Jane do differently? She applied the principles of effective communication. First off, active listening. Jane paid full attention to Timmy, not just his words, but also his body language and emotions. She made him feel heard and understood. This is crucial because when children feel listened to, they're more inclined to express themselves openly and honestly. Next, empathy. Jane didn't just hear Timmy's concerns, she genuinely understood them. She put herself in his shoes, validating his feelings and showing that she cared. Lastly, clear, age-appropriate language. Jane didn't use complicated jargon or talk down to Timmy. She kept her language simple and clear, making sure Timmy could understand her. Each of these principles played a significant role in Jane's successful communication with Timmy. They helped bridge the gap between them, fostering an environment of trust and understanding. With these principles, Jane turned a frustrating situation into a learning experience for both her and Timmy. Communication with children might seem like a minefield, but it doesn't have to be. So, what have we learned today? We've discussed the common challenges we often face when communicating with our young ones. From their different emotional range to their unique perception of the world, these factors can sometimes make our messages lost in translation. We then dived into the principles of effective communication. We explored how active listening, expressing empathy, and using open-ended questions can foster a more meaningful conversation. It's not just about relaying messages, but also about understanding their thoughts and feelings. And who could forget Jane and Timmy's story? It perfectly illustrates how miscommunication can lead to frustration. But it also shows us the power of effective communication in bridging the gap and fostering understanding. Remember, effective communication is key. It's not about winning or losing, but understanding and connecting. And with patience and practice, you can master it too.